Imagine you're driving down the road. Ahead is a regular intersection. Cars are moving along. Everything seems calm. But in the next second, a crash. A truck crashes into a car which flies to the side, knocking down poles. The driver probably thought he could make it through in time. He made a fatal mistake. And now imagine something else. A huge truck is racing down the highway. Its driver is behaving erratically. The vehicle swerves from side to side without using turn signals. And then the first collision, followed by the second. And then the most unexpected thing. The driver abandons the truck and runs across the road, shedding clothes. What's happening? Today you will learn about numerous cases where drivers, through their own stupidity or carelessness, provoked real tragedies. Those who are particularly sensitive are advised to step away from the screens or at least cover their eyes. This is because today's accidents are not just shocking. They vividly demonstrate how unpredictable the road can be. Every mistake can cost a life. What should you do if there's an erratic driver near you? How to avoid a collision with a truck that is losing control? Why can even a small maneuver lead to a disaster? In this video, real footage, shocking stories, and the main rules that can save your life. Accident at the intersection. The truck is moving along the road. Everything is calm. The dashcam captures the road from the height of the cabin. Cars are going about their business. But in a moment, disaster strikes. A car suddenly appears from the oncoming lane. It makes a sharp left turn. The maneuver is thoughtless, hasty, but most importantly, across the truck's lane. This is a fatal mistake. The truck driver doesn't have time to react. Brakes? Useless. The weight of the truck is tens of thousands of pounds. Stopping it in an instant is impossible. The collision occurs. The truck rams the car on the right side. Instantly, the body shifts. The car is thrown to the side. Impact, and the car flies towards the roadside. But this is not the end yet. Poles. They become victims of inertia. One after another, they break under the weight of the metal. The car eventually stops completely mangled. The fate of the drivers remains unknown. But the likelihood of severe injuries is enormous. A typical mistake? The car driver turned left without ensuring it was safe. Perhaps he thought the truck would brake, or that he would have time to slip through. But he was wrong, and this mistake may have cost him his life. To avoid getting into such situations, follow a few rules. The first rule: do not make sudden maneuvers, especially at intersections. Secondly, do not try to slip through in front of large vehicles. Trucks are very heavy, and their braking distance is several times longer than that of cars. Always assess the speed of oncoming traffic. A truck may seem slow, but if it's speeding at 50 miles per hour, braking will take hundreds of feet. This case is a lesson. At the intersection, the most dangerous parts of the roads, where any mistake can lead to terrible consequences. Be attentive and remember, sometimes it's better to lose a few seconds than your whole life. An inadequate driver on the road? A police helicopter hovers over the road. The camera captures the truck. It's not just moving, it's racing like an unstoppable beast. The driver is behaving inadequately. The vehicle is swerving between lanes without using turn signals. One dangerous maneuver follows another. And here comes the first impact. The truck crashes into a black sedan. It flies off like a toy, hitting another car. The people inside don't even have time to understand what's happening. But this is just the beginning. The scene changes. The same truck, the same chaos. It changes lanes again. Again without warning. And another crash? A black SUV gets trapped. The massive metal crushes it against the concrete barrier. There's no space. The road ends, but suddenly something strange happens. The truck's door opens. A man jumps out of the cabin. The dark-skinned driver dashes away, leaving his vehicle. He races across the oncoming lanes. Cars miraculously don't hit him. He grabs onto a fence, climbs up, trying to escape. But you can't outrun a helicopter. The police are watching him. Cornered, the man makes one last absurd move. He strips off his clothes. Why? Well, who knows? But it doesn't help. Soon he gives up. Completely undressed. Utterly helpless. And now the main question. What actually happened? This is a classic case of an erratic driver. Drugs might be involved here. Or maybe alcohol. But a mental disorder cannot be ruled out either. In any case, the consequences could have been catastrophic. A truck is not just a vehicle, it's a multi-ton machine. It cannot be stopped abruptly, and reckless maneuvers at speed can be a fatal mistake. When such a vehicle swerves from side to side, it's a one-way ticket. If an inadequate driver appears on the road near you, keep your distance. Increase the distance, do not try to overtake or catch up. Call emergency services. The sooner such people are stopped, the more lives can be saved. This time there were no casualties, but it could have been different. Stay vigilant. Fatal turn. Road. Dangerous turn. A huge truck appears from over the horizon. The tanker is filled with fuel. A lot of fuel. But something is wrong. The truck takes the turn too fast, too risky. The cab tilts, the wheels can't keep the vehicle on the road. And then disaster strikes. The multi-ton machine tips over onto its side. But this is not the end, it's just the beginning. The truck doesn't just fall, it slides. Fast, dangerously. And suddenly a flash? Fire engulfs the tanker. Inside are tons of fuel. The driver is no longer in control. In a second, an explosion. A huge fireball rises into the air. But the worst is yet to come. The overturned truck is rushing straight down the oncoming lane. There are cars, ordinary drivers, those who were just going about their business. The first, impact. A car is crushed like a tin can. Another one follows, and another one. The fiery machine doesn't stop. It keeps rolling, leaving a trail of fire behind. The truck goes out of frame, but a few moments later, the cameraman turns the camera. We see it again, it's already on the roadside. Behind it, destruction, with several wrecked cars along the way. Such an accident was unavoidable. Actually, it could have been avoided. The main mistake was the speed. Larger loads have a high center of gravity. They shouldn't take turns at high speed. Overloading, sharp maneuvers, the result of such movements is predictable. What should you do if you're nearby? First, keep your distance. A large one. If the truck is behaving suspiciously, slow down. Let it go ahead. Secondly, if the truck loses control, look for escape routes. Stop. Move to the roadside. Your task is not to end up in its path. And most importantly, never try to overtake a truck in a turn. It's deadly dangerous. Tow truck ramp. An ordinary day on the highway. Cars are speeding at high velocity. No one expects anything unusual. But there's a tow truck. It's parked on the roadside like a trap waiting for its victim. And the victim appears. A car is rushing straight towards it. The driver doesn't brake, doesn't swerve, as if he doesn't see the obstacle ahead. And in the next moment, something incredible happens. The car hits the tow truck's platform like a ramp. The wheels lift off the ground, the car soars into the air. High and dangerous. The car flips over, literally spinning in the air, and then lands harshly. The first point of impact is the front right part of the body. Then, a series of rolls. The car rolls down the road like a crumpled tin can. Witnesses rush to the scene. The only question is whether the driver is alive. This case is not isolated. Similar accidents occur regularly. Why? First, inattentiveness. Many drivers lose concentration. Phone, fatigue, talking with a passenger, and suddenly a huge tow truck becomes invisible. Second, speed. The faster you drive, the less time you have to react. This driver was clearly going at high speed. Third, improper positioning of the tow truck. Stopping on the shoulder of a highway is always a risk, especially if there are no warning signs. How to avoid such a situation? Firstly, never get distracted while driving. Attention is the key to survival. Secondly, keep your distance. The more space around you, the better your chances of avoiding a collision. Thirdly, if there is a tow truck ahead, do not lose vigilance. Reduce your speed, assess the situation. There might be a hidden danger right in front of you. This video is a vivid reminder that the stated rules must be followed. Otherwise, the consequences can be fatal. Do not leave your vehicle unattended. The embankment. A heavy truck with a crane stands at the very edge of the water. Calmly, motionlessly, but suddenly it starts moving. Without a jerk, without noise, slowly but inexorably. There is no driver inside. No one got behind the wheel, just a multi-ton machine started moving. And that is the essence of what is happening. The handbrake. It was not used. The truck accelerates. At first, slowly, then faster. An SUV stands in its path. A second, and a crash. The SUV doesn't even stop under the weight of the impact. The mass of the truck gradually pushes it forward. The SUV slides on the asphalt. But beyond is not asphalt, but water. The SUV goes down with a dull splash, while the truck continues on its path. At first, it hangs on the edge as if hesitating, but its weight makes the decision for it. The moment of the fall is not captured on video, but everyone understands this vehicle will not return to land. Why did this happen? The most common cause of such accidents. Ignoring the handbrake, especially on slopes, even if it seems that the car is stationary, it's only temporary. The second reason is a mistake with the gearbox. Whether automatic or manual, there is a difference, but one rule remains unchanged. Without being secured in place, the vehicle can roll away. Could the truck have been saved? No, its mass is too great. Once it started moving, there was no chance to stop it. How can such a mistake be avoided? The first rule is crucial and permanent. Engage the handbrake, even on a flat surface, even if you're just stepping away for a moment. Approach it for just a minute. Second, if the vehicle is heavy, additionally secure it with wheel chocks. they can save property and lives. Third, do not leave the vehicle in hazardous areas. Embankments, slopes, parking lots near water, all of these are potential traps. This case demonstrates that even the simplest mistake can lead to disaster. In the case of the concrete mixer, the road, an ordinary day. A car is moving along the highway following a heavy concrete mixer. Everything looks familiar, no danger. But then, in an instant, everything changes. The concrete mixer passes under the highway. The device catches on its base. There's a screech of metal, concrete, but the truck doesn't care. It doesn't even slow down, but the road has suffered significant damage. It started to crumble. In just seconds, the concrete cracks, the structure begins to collapse. The driver of the car following behind doesn't even have time to comprehend what's happening. The trap snaps shut, pieces of the road collapse right onto the car instantly, leaving no chance. The entire structure collapses down, burying the car under tons of concrete. What happened next is unknown. Did anyone survive? Unlikely. Concrete mixers and other tall machinery often cause such accidents. An error in height calculations and the consequences can be catastrophic. How to avoid such a situation? Firstly, if there is a tall truck in front of you, especially with a raised tool, maintain a distance, at least 10-15 feet. This will give you time to react in an emergency situation and avoid having to dig your car out from under debris. Secondly, watch the behavior of such vehicles. If the truck slows down before a low bridge or passes under it with difficulty, that's a warning sign. It's better to reduce speed or even stop. Thirdly, always be ready for an emergency maneuver. If the structure starts to collapse, seconds can save your life. A simple turn of the steering wheel to the side can avert disaster. The case shown demonstrates that danger can come from where you least expect it. One mistake by the cement mixer driver and another driver's life is at risk. A reckless driver on the road. Just another ordinary day on the highway. Drivers are calmly moving in their lanes. A passenger car is ahead. A truck is coming in the opposite direction. Everything is going as usual, but there is one person who doesn't care about the rules. A black sedan is speeding from behind. The driver is obviously in a hurry. He doesn't want to waste time. He doesn't care about oncoming cars or possible consequences. A sharp swerve to the left, he's overtaking. But the oncoming lane is already occupied. The truck is approaching, and then the collision. At full speed, the black sedan crashes into the truck's cabin. The impact is unavoidable. The truck loses balance, veering to the side. Tons of metal topple over. The sedan's cabin is mangled. Both vehicles turn into a heap of metal. Who survived? The sedan driver's chances are slim, but the worst fate is for the one who is not at fault, the truck driver. It's unlikely that his cabin was equipped with airbags, and the fall of a heavy vehicle onto its side is almost always a death sentence. What led to this tragedy? A single mistake. Overtaking is one of the most basic, yet simultaneously dangerous maneuvers on the road. If it is done incorrectly, the chances of survival are practically non-existent. How to avoid tragedy? The first rule is to never overtake if you cannot see the oncoming lane for at least 100 feet ahead. Any blind spot is a deadly risk. Second, if there is a slow-moving vehicle ahead, it's better to wait than to risk your life for a few seconds. The truck driver also did not expect a head-on collision. He is not at fault, but he ended up in the most dangerous situation. 3. At the slightest doubt, cancel the maneuver. A 1-second delay and the consequences can be irreversible. This accident is a harsh but important lesson. There is no reason that justifies the risk of a head-on collision. A few extra seconds during overtaking can cost a life. Conclusion. Every day, thousands of drivers hit the roads without even considering that their journey could be interrupted at any moment. One mistake, 1 second of inattention. One risky maneuver and the consequences become irreversible. We have seen how carelessness, haste, and irresponsibility lead to disasters. Someone decided they could overtake in a prohibited area. Someone didn't account for the dimensions of their vehicle. Someone overestimated their skills, and as a result, collisions destroy cars and sometimes lives. But the scariest part is that many of these accidents could have simply not happened. It would have been enough to just follow the simple rules devised by experts. Don't attempt to overtake when it's dangerous. Watch your speed. Keep a distance, be attentive to those around you. It may seem that accidents are a coincidence, that they happen somewhere else, to someone else. But the road makes no exceptions. Today you are in a hurry, not thinking about the risks, neglecting safety. And tomorrow it could be you in that situation. Those whose cars are scattered across the highway, whose lives hang by a thread. So why not prevent this now? Why not make it a rule to respect yourself and others? On the road, every driver is responsible not only for their own life but also for the lives of others. Remember this, and be careful on the roads. Well, that's all from me, dear friends. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. There will be a lot more interesting content on this channel. Bye.